Hello, I'm Richard Verkley and welcome to businessandfranchiseopportunity.com. The following videos in this series cover the questions you need to ask in order to make an informed and wise purchasing decision on the type of franchise or business opportunity that is right for you. Now to the questions.
Okay, next question. This next question is from Michelle. And Michelle is asking, how do I tell if I'm an entrepreneur? Good question, Michelle. This is going to be an interesting question to answer. And because I think there is already a lot of ideas in a lot of people's heads as to what is an entrepreneur. And I have to tell you, it's probably not what's in your head. Many of us have, met some successful entrepreneurs and have gone, wow, that I'm not at all like that individual. I can't be an entrepreneur. On the other hand, there are some extremely successful entrepreneurs that you have never met because they're actually not on the forefront of their business. They're in the background of their business. So an entrepreneur can be many things. But I guess in order to answer the question, how do you tell whether you're an entrepreneur? We need to sort of examine the different types of personality types and the different types of individuals or characters that can do well at operating a business. And in order to do that, we have to kind of look at the types of businesses that are out there. Because the good news is, most likely, Michelle, you are an entrepreneur. And so let me explain that. You can imagine you have met people in your life who are, somewhat introverted. You'll find other people who are heavily extroverted. Now, are both of this type of personality an entrepreneur? Yes, they are. So how does this factor into franchising? Well, as I've said in many of the videos, there are thousands of different franchises available all over the planet. And they do all sorts of things and they have all types of services. So let's talk about, I guess a few of the personality traits that you will see in a franchise organization. And kind of the first ones that would probably pop to most people's minds would be the highly extroverted, the individuals who, kind of portray themselves in an outward sort of fashion. They're leaders, and they get out there and they make things happen, and they're go get it done. And quite often I'll call it the find it, hunt it, kill it. Give them a project, they'll go out there and they'll make that happen. So quite often we perceive that to be the entrepreneur, and that is an entrepreneurial type. These people are buying into organizations where this type of franchise really needs somebody at the forefront of it. Somebody who is maybe, it may be a business services franchise, which is a good example. So, you have somebody who's going to call presidents or CEOs of large companies every day in order to bring their service to that company. You need somebody who's extroverted, somebody who's competent, capable to talk to somebody at a certain degree or level of sophistication. But you also have that very same thing, say, in a retail sort of environment. Once again, now you're not talking to presidents and CEOs every day, but maybe you're talking about ink refill cartridges. And you're dealing with the general public who walks up to you every day, and you're manning a front counter, and you love dealing with people. You love being in an extroverted sort of position. You love sales, or you love customer service, and you've probably been in a number of occupations that are similar to that. Now, let's kind of, peel back a layer of the onion here. And let's look at some of the other franchise opportunities that are out there. Quite often they're service related. And they are sort of in the background and you don't recognize them once again as a large brand, but they are working with other companies. They may have no retail outlets whatsoever. It may be a distributor sort of business where a lot of activity is happening by orders being placed. And ultimately you're picking up the phone or you're taking orders by email, and you're shipping and you're sending, and it becomes more of a structured and a process driven sort of business. Well, maybe that's you. Maybe you're a process sort of person. Maybe you enjoy methodology and systems. Well, there's a franchise that's going to suit you more. Well, maybe that franchise also has a front counter or a high customer service sort of individual. Well, the good news about franchises is they quite often are not about one person. They're about having a number of employees. And so if this is not your role, you want to hire somebody who loves doing these things. And I can tell you right now, there's a lot of people available to be hired who would love to be in a service role, who would love dealing with people. So if that's not your thing, there's your opportunity. As well, we have a lot of people who have high management skills, and they may enjoy building teams, and they've developed or built sales staff in the past. They've developed customer service people, call center people. Maybe they've managed a group of engineers. So once again, if that happens to be your skill set and your traits, you want to look for a franchise where you get to be who you are. Now, I've kind of talked about your background and your past and the things that you've done as a work history, and I think many of you can kind of relate to this. You've been doing things you don't like. Well, franchising is a unique and incredible opportunity to step away from the things you didn't like and step into the things that you do like. So you may have been in a systems process environment, but you're really a human elements person and you like to deal with people. Well, here's your chance. If you're looking at a franchise, don't get drawn by your technical skills. What I'd really like to see is you get drawn by your human skills. And we're going to spend some time in a separate video really discussing that. So, good news is, I really think there's something there for everybody. In my time as a president and CEO of 3 very large franchise organizations, I mean, there were times when we met people that we really couldn't serve. But I was able to direct them to other franchise organizations who maybe had the things that they, were looking for. So what I want you to do is keep an open mind and, get out there once again, do as much research as you can. And here's some real important tips. Let's say you actually find one that you like. You're excited about it. It really seems to fit who you are. This is probably one of my key pieces of advice, and it's going to show up in 2 or 3 of the videos. What I'd like to make sure you do through your process of due diligence, and we're going to talk a little more in detail in another video about that, you are always going to get to the point where you're going to talk to some of the franchisees. And I'd always like you to talk to 8 or 10 of them. But what I would like you to do is I'd like you to ask the franchisor to tell you 4 or 5 people who are like you. And I'd like him to tell you, or her, 4 or 5 people that are not at all like you. You want to talk to the franchisees. And the reason you want to do this is because if you can talk to 4 or 5 of the franchisees who are like you, and they're doing very well in that organization, that's a good sign that this is a good fit for you. If you can talk to 4 or 5 of them that are like you, and they're really kind of in the middle or maybe the bottom end of that franchise in terms of activity and sales success, that's a good sign that maybe this is not a good fit. So make sure you take your time like always, make sure you do the research, and enjoy the process, and by all means, don't be scared. Step up, ask questions, get as much as you can before you make your decision, and I really invite you to watch the rest of these videos because it's going to help you find the types of information you're looking for, where to get it, where to look, and really big part of the process here in these videos is helping you analyze yourself and where you're really going to fit in the franchise world.
Hello, this is Richard Berkeley. I'd like to thank you for watching my videos. If you're interested in purchasing a franchise and looking for additional information to help you make an informed purchasing decision, I'd like you to come to my website at www.businessandfranchiseopportunity.com. Thank you.